Welcome to Immortal Stories, where every story is a stab at the truth, and every fate hides a pain that no one dares to tell. If you feel your heart just ached, subscribe to the channel. Every support of yours is the motivation for us to continue telling stories that touch the deepest emotions. Who would have thought that a man who worked silently for over 20 years as a school security guard, whose name no one really remembered, whose face was just a blur in the morning rush, would become the only person to uncover the deepest, most haunting truth hidden behind the laughter of the school halls? His name was Mr. Elias. Graying, soft-spoken, always in the background. Students passed him every day without so much as a glance. Teachers nodded with half-hearted smiles. No one ever asked how he was, but that never mattered to him. Until one day, something changed. It was a rainy Thursday afternoon, the kind that coated the playground in slick mud and turned the sky into one endless, weeping cloud. Most of the students had gone home early due to a sudden power outage. Elias stayed behind, as he always did, making sure the gates were locked and no one had been left behind. As he swept the hallway leading to the old library, a place barely used anymore, he noticed something that made his heart skip. A small, pink notebook lay half hidden under the radiator. It looked out of place, too pristine to have been there long. It was wrapped with a worn-out ribbon, the corners slightly frayed as if someone held it dearly. Elias hesitated. He wasn't the type to pry. But something about that diary called to him. Maybe it was the way it was placed, or maybe it was a sense, an unexplainable sense, that whoever owned it needed to be heard. He picked it up. On the cover, scribbled in tiny letters, "Diary of a Ghost Girl." Elias sat down on the dusty bench outside the principal's office, the empty halls echoing around him. He flipped open the first page, and instantly his breath caught. No one sees me. Not really. I scream silently every day, and still no one hears. He turned another page. Sometimes I wonder if disappearing would make them notice, if vanishing would be the only way to become real in their eyes. Her words were laced with something darker than teenage angst, deeper than loneliness. There was pain there, a bottomless pain, written in swirling ink and crossed-out words. As he kept reading, he felt a lump forming in his throat. I walked past them. They smile, laugh, kiss in the corridors. I'm the shadow next to their joy. I carry the weight of secrets. Heavy, heavy secrets. If I told anyone, would they call me a liar? She never signed her name, never mentioned a teacher or a class. Just cryptic details. A scar shaped like a crescent moon, a locker number crossed out over and over, a drawing of a broken music note. Elias, slowly piecing it together, began to realize that this wasn't just a diary. It was a cry for help. A few pages later, it got worse. He said if I told, no one would believe me, that I'd ruin everything, that I'd be the problem. So I stopped speaking. I stopped singing. I stopped existing. He stopped breathing for a moment. The implication was chilling. This wasn't a story. This wasn't fiction. This was real. Elias clutched the diary to his chest, a storm of emotions brewing within him. For the first time in years, he felt something ignite in his chest, rage, sorrow, guilt. He had been there. He had watched these children come and go every day. And yet, one of them had been living in a private hell, and he never noticed. He knew he had to do something. The next day, he didn't sweep the halls. He didn't sit in his usual spot at the front gate. He spent the morning reviewing the security tapes, hours and hours of footage, looking for crescent moon scars, lockers near the old library, girls who walked with slumped shoulders, girls who flinched when others touched them. It took him 3 days. Then he saw her, a girl who always arrived early and left late, who never talked to anyone, who once stared into a camera for 6 full seconds, her eyes blank, And on her wrist, barely visible beneath her sleeve, was a faint crescent-shaped scar. Her name was Mina, grade 11, honor student, choir member, though she stopped singing 2 semesters ago. Parents divorced. Quiet, polite, a teacher's favorite. Elias felt the blood drain from his face. He had to tread carefully. If the diary was right, someone had hurt her. Someone inside these walls. Someone she was too afraid to name. Someone who said she'd never be believed. He took the diary and scheduled a private meeting with the school counselor. He brought it in silence, placed it on her desk without a word, and walked out. 3 days later, Mina didn't come to school. A week passed, then an arrest. A beloved music teacher, respected, married, father of 3. The entire school reeled in shock. And Elias? He stood outside the school gates like always. But now, the students looked at him differently. Some paused. Some nodded. A few even whispered, "Thank you." But the moment that broke him completely was when a folded note appeared in his locker. It said, "You saved my life. Thank you for hearing the ghost." And on the corner of that note was a crescent moon drawn in purple ink. He cried for the first time in 20 years. Not because he was weak, but because he finally understood just how powerful it was to listen.